One. Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another edition of the Monsters Den. Today, Chris Alo and myself taking you through some of the shit we've been watching lately, right? So, yeah, this is kind of a fill-in the week episode. Thankfully, we both watched a bunch of flicks over the last week and a half, so we got some cool stuff to talk about. So I got a little stack. He's got a stack. I'll have Chris kick us off with his first film recommendation of the week.
Okay. I think probably the only good movie I've seen in the last week plus was a new disc put out from Vinegar Syndrome, and it is Action USA. I think there's two different slip covers because this is one version and this is the other version. I like this one better. There's different stuff on the back. Long story short, the movie was sold to me as the best action movie that you've never seen, and that's pretty much it. It's a mid-'80s buddy cop movie, black cop and a white cop, and it's basically Lethal Weapon, but a couple years before they made Lethal Weapon, because I think the first Lethal Weapon movie was that like 87 or 88.
I don't remember, but it was around that time period. Yeah, about that time.
And I think they shot this in 84. But it's just, it's a terrible movie, but it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of explosions and boobs and car chases and, drugs. And it's a lot of fun. Again, not a great movie, but the disc looks great. It's just ridiculous action. And you could do a lot worse than you're spending your $18. So yeah, pick this up from Vinegar Syndrome. In fact, Vinegar Syndrome is having like a big sale tonight at midnight, and it runs through Memorial Day weekend, and all their discs are on sale. So yeah,
why did you have to tell me that?
I'm sorry, Pete. So yeah, Action USA. That's the only good movie I've seen in the last week. Everything else, I'm gonna tear apart because it sucked.
Wow. Okay. Well, I got some good stuff actually for the most part.
Oh, that's good.
Graduation Day.
Oh, classic.
I really like this a lot. Yeah. I had never seen.
You'd never seen that one.
No, wow. No. I basically bought this on a recommendation, and I was not disappointed. And this is what is this? Synapse? No, Vinegar Syndrome. This is Vinegar Syndrome. Yeah, I mean, this is again not the most original movie on the planet.
Yeah.
You got this like the class of '81 track team, right? And one of the young female track stars, she gets done with the race and she just like drops dead. And it's like, and then it's, one by one, just people start dying, other kids start dying, like who's behind it all? It's kind of like a whodunit, but a pretty cool slasher film. You got all sorts of people in this film you've seen before. The kills are really good, keeps you guessing to the end. And then,
oh yeah.
When the end happens, it's like, do they catch the right person? I don't know. I'm not going to give it away, but good looking cast too. A lot of blood, little bits of nudity. It's got basically everything you want from one of these type of films, early '80s slasher films. So yeah, I dug this quite a bit, and even though it was not the most original plot on the planet, I thought they did a really good job of kind of not giving who the killer was away till the very end, and then there's a nice little twist at the end. So
it's a classic traditional 80s slasher. I mean, I liked it so much I bought a 35 millimeter film print of it.
Wow.
And we ran it in front of a packed house at Hudson Horror, and they loved it. I mean, it's a fun slasher.
It is. Yeah, I like it quite a bit. Yeah,
definitely. All right, sticking with Vinegar Syndrome, they came out with this box set not too long ago. Called Homegrown Horrors, and basically the premise of this is that it's a box set of super low budget movies that were shot on film, and they were regional movies, and I'm sure none of these played in theaters. There's 3 movies in here. I watched 2 of them with mixed results. Fatal Exam is one that a lot of people have been talking about because it's garbage. I mean, it is just so fucking boring. This movie is almost 2 hours long and like nothing happens. Basically, they took the plot of Equinox or Night of the Demon or any other movie where it's a bunch of college students that have to go out in the field and they go to this haunted house and like literally nothing happens for like an hour and a half. It's just them talking, talking, talking. The acting is terrible. It's awful. I mean, it's just terrible. So at the end, there's like a demon and there's a couple kills, but there's no blood. There's no nudity. I remember saying to my buddy Sean when we were watching it, like, this movie has no exploitative elements at all, other than like there's a spoiler, there's a shitty stop motion demon at the end. So that's pretty terrible. This one was a lot more fun in the box set. This one was called Winter Beast, and this one is a bunch of forest rangers who are, you know, doing their job, and there's these terrible monsters, most of which that are like stop motion, that are killing a couple people in the town, and it looks like shit, but at least you get some monsters, you get some gore, you get a couple boobs, so it's not all bad. It's really short. I think it's like 70 something minutes. So the guy that made this movie at least tried to make something that was entertaining, and the guy that made this movie tried to put you to sleep. There is one more disc in here called Beyond Dream's Door. It's got a really cool cover. It looks like it should be like some kind of cover for like a metal band. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm definitely gonna. So next time we do this, I'll review Beyond Dream's Door.
Cool. Now you mentioned Fatal Exam. I didn't pull it, but I watched Final Exam also recently.
Oh, the slasher. That's not graduation day.
No,
that's entertaining.
It's, you know, it is. The last like 20 minutes is great.
Yeah.
And the first like hour is like, it starts off really good, and then it goes into like an hour of like really not much happening. It's all about the kids. It's kind of comedic, and then it kind of redeems itself at the end. But they don't really explain anything. But not bad.
Yeah.
I didn't mind that too much. Speaking of like young, you know, college kids and whatever, Ghoulies and Ghoulies 2.
Nice.
These are a lot of fun, actually. I remember seeing these back in the day, and I hadn't seen them in many years. I picked up the Scream Factory.
Which one has the Wasp song? Is that the first one or the second
one? Jesus, I don't even remember, to be honest with you.
Is it one of those, or it's another Ghoulies movie?
I don't know. I don't remember no Wasp song. It could be I just wasn't paying attention, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Good films. I love the creatures.
Right. They're a hoot.
They're kind of like, you know, you just want to. They're kind of ghoulish looking, but they're kind of cuddly looking, and they show up in all the weirdest places, and it's a good amount of blood. I don't know. These are more fun than anything else. This is not classic horror by any means, and it's kind of like, you know, a ripoff of Gremlins and whatnot, but not quite as cute and cuddly, obviously. But you know, the first movie is the one that did pretty good business. The second one, I don't know how well that did, but I thought the second one was fun. The second one's where they're at the carnival. And there's some interesting shit going on.
Right.
Remember that? Yeah.
But the first one is like the seance kind of thing.
We're at the mansion. Yes, exactly.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's when I got Michael DeBarge. You know, it's the first one is more like kind of like the satanic of the two, right? Because they're actual demons that they conjure up, right? Whereas the second one, the demons never go away, and they just wind up showing up at a carnival, right? And kind of like, you know, becoming like the carnival suffering. There's like a big conglomerate that owns the carnival, and like, we're gonna shut you down if you don't bring in more business. And all of a sudden, that's when the demons show up, and the demons start killing people and everything, and people are thinking it's part of the act, so they're selling tickets like crazy, right? Of course, but the people on the carnival, like, we don't know what these demons are. We have nothing to do with this type of thing. But pretty cool. I love the creature effects. I think it's a lot of fun. So I like both of them. Pretty
nice.
Cool.
Yeah. This one, here's the disc, but I actually did watch it streaming on Amazon. It's got the guy from Harry Potter, whatever his name is, I forget. Guns Akimbo, and it's an action comedy, and the action's kind of shitty, and it's not funny at all. The trailer totally sold me. It also stars Samara Weaving, who is the niece of Mr. Anderson from the Matrix movies. He was also one of those elves in Lord of the Rings, and she's the girl that looks just like Harley Quinn from Suicide Squad.
Gotcha.
And she's also in the Babysitter movies. And it's kind of like a video game, and it's also kind of a ripoff of a movie from 20 years ago that I really liked, called Series 7, The Contenders. And the premise of the movie was that it's a modern day game show where people are pulled off the street and unwittingly they have to go hunt each other one by one for the enjoyment of the audience, and they do it, on a live TV show. And that was the plot for Series 7, The Contenders, and 20 years later, it's the same exact plot for Guns Akimbo, except everybody's now watching online, and everybody's posting comments that this kid's an asshole and he doesn't know what he's doing. But I didn't really like it. In fact, I disliked it so much at about the 50-minute mark, I turned it off and put on another movie, which I'll get to next. And then I came back to this a couple days later, and I did finish it. I'm like, yeah, this movie sucks. It fails as a comedy, and it fails as an action movie.
Or Daniel Radcliffe.
Oh man, I just thought it was terrible. So if you're gonna watch it on Amazon, so you don't actually have to pay for it. But yeah, that's Guns Akimbo.
All right. My next choice, I want to thank Jamie Laszlo for kind of recommending this. I had always heard about this movie, never saw it, decided just to go buy the Criterion Collection Blu-ray, The Innocence.
I don't know that one.
With Deborah Kerr, old 60s film. Great. Okay. Really good 60s spooky atmospheric horror film. This is the film, I think I mentioned this to you, where there's like one scene where the ghost, they're looking at the ghost chick from like across a pond, and it looks just like the cover of the first Black Sabbath record.
Oh, right. Yeah, I remember you saying that.
This is seriously good.
Okay.
It's really good. Again, no blood, no guts, no nothing, no violence really. Right. It's like some implied stuff. But just really, really creepy and atmospheric. I mean, I absolutely love this. I thought it was amazing. I can't wait to watch it again. It's got Deborah Kerr, who's, most notable as an actress who appeared in a lot of like romantic comedies and romance and dramas and things like that. But she does a great job as like the kind of, she's almost like a nanny, right, that gets hired in this old mansion, right, that's got this weird family history, and she's in charge of the two kids, a boy and a girl, and just seeing her like unravel and just lose her mind during the course of this film. It's very kind of like much a psychological thriller horror, but okay. So well done, and the lighting and the cinematography, it's black and white. So it just really, really well done. Yeah, I totally dug this. Totally dug it. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's great.
All right. I'm going to have to check that one out for sure. Next one I watched is another new one. And yeah, I was really disappointed in this one. Psycho Gore Man. Basically, it's a little girl finds an amulet, and she gets control of this crazy alien from outer space who's, kind of like a predator in that he's a crazy killer, but he talks, and he's got some weird name, and the little girl names him Psycho Gore Man, and she has him beat up her little brother and kill some kid in town and do some other shit. But I like the premise, but at the same time, like, none of the characters were likable. There's a whole family, the mother, the father, the sister, the little girl, and the brother, and I just didn't like any of them. I just didn't give a shit. So I didn't really like it, to be honest. It's got some good gore, some good, really good special effects, but, as a movie, it was definitely, you could tell that they're trying to work that franchise, but this is definitely a one and done for me. If you don't want to buy the disc, which I definitely wouldn't recommend, you could stream this on Shudder, the Shudder TV, because I hated it. I couldn't wait for it to be over.
Wow. So, that movie has gotten pretty rave reviews.
Yeah. Some people love it.
And I ordered it. I haven't gotten it yet. I ordered it. And then like literally the day after I ordered, Chris said he watched it and he hated it. I was like, oh. Yeah. But I mean, from what I've read, apparently if you like old school monster effects and there's a lot of gore, it's, I don't know. So we'll see.
Yeah. Well, hopefully
I'll be getting it. I'll watch it. I'll let you know what I think.
I was gonna say, and that's the good thing, you know, to plug anything. And I know you're a new subscriber, Pete. Shudder is awesome because there's all these movies that you would have normally purchased, and you could just watch it, and then if you really like it, you could buy it. And I know in my case, I've seen a ton of movies on Shudder that I hated, but these are all movies I would have bought. So now I'm like, Shudder's saving me money because all these movies are just one and done.
Yeah. All right, I got a couple Arrow releases here. My next two choices. Cool Larry Cohen film. This is a blast, the stuff.
Oh, for sure.
It's so, the premise is so silly. But man, it's just, you know, basically this is like Attack of the Killer ice cream yogurt. I don't really even know what the hell it is.
It's almost like a Blob movie, kind of like that, like that second Blob movie, the comedy one. The Larry Hagman one, Son of the Blob.
Yeah. It's just a lot of fun. It's got Michael Moriarty in the starring role, and basically they just, you know, there's this place that has this weird white shit that comes out of the ground, right? It's like near like,
it looks like marshmallow fluff.
Like marshmallow fluff, right? One of the guys goes and tries, like, oh my God, this is delicious. So,
I'd eat it. It looks great.
So it gets into the hands of this corporation who decides to, you know, just basically mass produce it, right? And they just take it out of the ground, they package it and sell it like in a little ice cream or yogurt container. And all of a sudden, everybody's eating the stuff. But the thing is, once you start eating it, it kind of like brainwashes you, right? And now that's all you want to eat. But it also starts like killing people. Right. So like, you know, get the Michael Moriarty character, and then you get this kid whose family is addicted to it, but he doesn't want to fall for that. And they kind of team up to go try and find ways to stop the company that's producing it and all this kind of stuff. But meanwhile, the effects are pretty cool. It's just basically the creatures it's the stuff, right? It's this white stuff that like crawls on the ceiling and just like, you know, just eats people. It's just crazy stuff. But I think it's a blast. I thought it was so much fun.
It's a hoot. I remember when that came out as a kid. I wanted to see that in the theater so bad, but it didn't play anywhere near us, so I had to rent it. But it's a hoot. One of my bigger regrets from horror movie conventions is Larry Cohen did a chiller, and he had hundreds of those cups from the action. They were the props from the actual movie. He was selling them for cheap, and he was even signing the cups. But he had a long line. I didn't want to wait on the line, and then that
would have been cool to have.
Yeah, he passed away like not all that long afterwards. But I'm like, oh man, if only I could have got one of those cups from the stuff.
The stuff cup.
Yeah. All right, so the next movie was the big premiere of the week, Army of the Dead, which I streamed off of Netflix, and it's this new zombie movie from Zach. What's his name? Zack Snyder from Justice League and Man of Steel fame. And, so I think it was Dan from The Warehouse that said he went in with low expectations. I went in with high expectations because I really liked Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead remake from I think it was like 2004, 2003.
Not that long ago. Oof.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. And this movie was terrible. It's like 2.5 hours. And it's basically like a heist movie with a zombie movie, which, I thought was fine. It's very reminiscent of one of those Resident Evil movies that takes place in Las Vegas, because that's where this takes place. But there's like, for a movie that's like 2.5 hours, there's like zero character development. I mean, there's like all these characters, and like, I don't know their names. I don't know their backstories or their motivation. I mean, like, perfect example, Dave Bautista, the wrestler, he's like the star of the movie, and he's got his daughter with him, and the daughter has some friend. We guess it's a friend that you see briefly, and the friend, for some reason, goes into the forbidden zone where the zombies are. And then the daughter, gives a tantrum, and she's like, well, I'm going in with or without you, Dad, because I got to find Susie Q. But I'm like, the whole time I'm like, well, is this a friend? Like, is this her lesbian girlfriend? Like, why is she so hell-bent on getting the friend? And then I'm like, well, yeah, and why did the friend go in? I mean, unless I dozed off, which is possible because this movie's 2.5 fucking hours. And trust me, it's no Dawn of the Dead that's 2.5 hours long. I mean, it's shit like that. Like, I'm like, and then the whole running time of the movie, the daughter doesn't mention the friend at all, but then just so happens to find her, spoiler alert, with 5 minutes left of running time. I mean, it's that kind of shit that really bugs me. The zombies literally acted like squirrels or spiders the entire time because they have all these weird herky-jerky movements. They crawl on the ground like spiders. They make these weird shrieking sounds like animals. The zombies have a full range of emotions because one zombie has his zombie girlfriend. She gets killed, and then he like cries and moans over it. I'm like, but these are zombies. Like, to me, the horrifying part of zombies is that they are emotionless, and you can't, there's no reason to them or talking to them. They're just dead, things. And to me, this is humanizing them. I mean, there's a couple parts where, like, the zombies, I guess when they're screaming to one another, maybe they're communicating somehow about chasing people, and they all start cheering and putting their arms up and down. Like, this is so fucking stupid. Yeah, I hated it. I know some people liked it. I couldn't wait for it to be over. 2.5 hours. I guess the only good thing is, if you're seeing it on Netflix, it's not like you're paying a seat in the theater, because it was tough. It was a tough sit through. I didn't fast forward at all, but man, I could not wait for this thing to end. And yeah, like Dan said, there's a sequel and there's a prequel and an animated series, and then they'll make, Army of the Dead Socks and whatever else. But I don't give a shit. This movie's terrible.
Unless it tanks and you won't see anything else.
Well, some people do like it, but I mean, I'm sure you'll catch it at some point, Pete. But
yeah, I'm in no hurry, really. But
it.
it's more of a curiosity thing. But I don't have any expectations. I didn't have any expectations, to be honest with you.
I mean, again, I like the premise of a heist with zombies out in the desert, and they're going to steal money, and they're in the forbidden zone, and blah blah blah. But just the lack of development for a 2.5 hour movie. And, at points, for 2.5 hours, I thought there should have been more action. And just the zombies themselves were just annoying. Seeing zombies that were running around like George the Animal Steel just really just drove me up a wall.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I may give it a shot. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not overly enthused so far from what I've heard. Anyway, all right, another hour of Blu-ray release. Another 80s film, The Slayer.
Now, that's one I have never seen. I always wanted to. When we were kids, it was in a big box, I want to say from Continental Home Video. And I think it was one of those ones, there was 2 movies on one VHS tape. But especially being a fan of the band, I always wanted to see it. But
did it maybe have that cover?
That might have been it.
Yeah, I think that was the original cover. I like the new one better, to be honest with you.
Oh, that's great! It's great artwork.
Yeah, it's good. So it's kind of a weird film, but it's pretty cool. And it's one of those things. Don't judge the book by its cover. Don't judge the film by its cover. It's got this cool creature on the front, but he's in the film maybe a minute and a half.
Oh, but, no kidding.
Yeah, but it's a pretty cool film. Like the premise of this is like you've got this this woman who is she like a paint guy? What is, I forget her profession, a painter? I don't know, whatever. But she has these dreams all the time. And a lot of times the dreams she has come true and everybody thinks she's got all these problems and whatnot. So anyway, so she's got this boyfriend and she's got a brother's got a girlfriend. They decide, you know what, we need a break. We need a vacation. So they decide to go take a vacation in this on this island. Of course, you always got to go to this island, right? Out in the middle of nowhere. They're going to do some fishing, whatever. So they go and they rent a house on the island. And she starts to have all these weird dreams. She doesn't want to go to sleep, right? It's kind of like this Nightmare on Elm Street type of thing. But then, one by one, all the people in their party start to get killed, right? And so it becomes like this kind of like, and then there were three type of thing, and a who done it, so to speak. Who's actually killing them? Is there someone else on the island besides them? Is it this monster that she keeps dreaming of, and all this kind of stuff? So the kills are pretty good. It keeps you guessing till the end. Then when the reveal comes, it's like, okay, whatever. And then the ending is a total like, wait a second, what did we just watch for the last hour and a half type of thing? So pretty good movie. Not the greatest film I've ever seen, but pretty interesting. Like I said, it's got some good kills. Tiny bit of sex, not much. The creature's pretty cool. They doesn't play a big part in the film, but worth checking out. Definitely.
Well, I'm sold, especially because it's going to have that 80s charm, which
yeah, I
to
mean,
me goes a long way.
Yeah. So pretty cool. The Slayer.
I'm going to have to check that one out.
Yeah.
The last one I saw is actually a twofer. This is another one that's streaming on Netflix, and it's the Babysitter and the Babysitter Part 2, and it's on Netflix, and it's a retro throwback movie. Long story short, there's a little kid who is really good friends with his babysitter, played by Samara Weaving, who's in Guns Akimbo, and she's in a bunch of other stuff that I mentioned. And she is fucking gorgeous, and she babysits this kid. And spoiler alert: when he goes to bed, she has a bunch of friends over, and you find out that she is like the head of this satanic cult. And there's sacrifices, and there's blood, and like lots of gore. Bella Thorne is in it, and she is fucking gorgeous. I never saw her before, but she's like some Instagram model or something. I don't know who she is, but she looks amazing. Tons of gore. It's fairly funny. It's short too. It's like 80 something minutes. My only real complaint is there's no nudity. For an 80s throwback kind of movie, there definitely should have been some nudity, especially considering the cast is pretty hot. But it's fun. I definitely recommend it. I actually watched it twice, but I watched also the Babysitter Part 2, and that was kind of a letdown. They continue the story. Now the kid is a couple years older, and he obviously doesn't need a babysitter anymore, but they bring back the characters from the first movie. It's a different setting, but it just doesn't have the fun of the first one. I mean, listen, there's only so much you could do. I mean, when I heard they were doing a second movie, I assumed Samara Weaving was just going to go babysit some other kid, and it's the same movie all over again. But nope, it's a totally different premise. It explores the cult and Satanism and all this stuff, but there's gore, but it's way too long. It's like 100 something minutes, and it feels it. So I guess if you're gonna watch the first one, maybe check out the second one too. But it's not great. Just be warned that the second one is not as good. And they're both streaming on Netflix,
as most of these sequels aren't, right?
Yeah.
So the first one sounds interesting.
Yeah, I would definitely check it out, especially if you have Netflix.
Yeah, I do.
It's 80 something minutes. It goes by quick, and it's fun. There's definitely some fun and funny parts in it.
Cool. I will check it out. All right, I'll run through. I still got another batch here. So you're all done. You want me to just rip through these? What you got?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, because I guess that's it. That's all I got.
Okay. All right. Roman Polanski's Repulsion. Another really cool film.
I need to see.
Yeah. This is quite good. Another one of those kind of cool, like what the hell did I just watch? Psychological horror thrillers with a 22-year-old Catherine Deneuve. She looks amazing. But just a really cool film on like a really young girl's descent into complete madness. And the film is claustrophobic. Almost the entire film takes place in this apartment, and it's in black and white, and the apartment's a wreck. And she, she plays this young girl who works in like a beauty salon, but she's really shy. You can tell, they play it up like she had a lot of like issues when she was a child. So she's living in this apartment with her sister. The sister's got like this older boyfriend who is married. She doesn't approve of that relationship, but whatever. She's got a boyfriend, but she's really weird. She doesn't really talk to him much, doesn't like him getting close to her. He really digs her. The girlfriend and the boyfriend go away for the weekend. She's left alone in the apartment alone. And that's when all the weird stuff starts happening. And it's just like, she plays such a great, odd character. And you really see like every step of the way, her just like totally losing her mind. And there's some pretty cool killings in the film. And you just have to see it to believe it. It's really, really good. I mean, I like Roman Polanski as a director. I had never seen this before. This is another Jamie Laszlo recommendation. And 1965, really good. And
Nice.
Criterion Collection as well. Looks fabulous. So that's really good. I know you talked about this one once before. Q, the Winged Serpent.
Oh, sure. That's a blast.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Unbelievable cast.
Yeah, everybody's in this, right? I mean, Jesus, it's like you got Carradine,
another Larry Cohen.
Yeah, exactly. Another Larry Cohen film. Cool stop motion effects. I wish we saw more of them, but it's still pretty good. Very cool film. This is a Rich Catino recommendation. Another Arrow release, The Mutilator.
Okay, that one I saw in the theater not that long ago. I wasn't thrilled with it.
Oh, really?
But all the kills in the theatrical print, they were all trimmed.
Oh no, you got to see this version. Yeah,
I have to see that version.
Yeah, this. Again, it's a story about there's no real surprise here. It's basically you get this. The beginning of the film starts off this young kid who it's his father's birthday, right? Dad's still at work, so he's home with his mom, getting everything set for the big birthday dinner celebration. And he decides, well, you know what? To make Dad happy, I'm going to go clean Dad's gun for him, right? So what does he do? He starts cleaning Dad's gun. Kills his mother by accident, right? Because he hits Dad comes home. He's pretty pissed off. Well, that leaves his dad on a lifetime of just he loses it. And he becomes the Mutilator. If there's no surprise in the film, you know who it is the entire movie. And at one point he tells the son, who's now grown up, this is like 5 years later or whatever the hell it is, 10 years later, he says, we got that house down by the beach. We haven't been there in a while. Can you go down and clean it up? I got something else to do. So him and his girlfriend and all his buddies and their girls, they all go down to the beach house for the weekend to go clean it up and, help out with, from Dad's request. And then one by one, they all start getting mutilated and killed. And of course, that's the father who planned the whole thing. Pretty cool ending too. And again, he's one of those guys you think you've killed him like 3 times and he keeps coming back. But some really interesting kills, including one with this kind of fish hook here, which you'll have to see.
I'll have to see it again. I'll have to see the uncut version.
Yeah, there's some pretty good kills in this film. So if you definitely check it out if you haven't. This was okay. I didn't think this was great. I heard good things about this. Just Before Dawn.
Oh, yep. That's a fun one.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I guess I expect a little more. This is again, one of those kind of hillbilly horror type films.
Yeah, hillbilly slasher movie.
Yeah, kind of came in the wake of Hills Have Eyes and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and before somewhat like a Wrong Turn and all that kind of stuff. Actually, this movie is basically Wrong Turn, just done in the early 80s.
Yes.
You got these two kind of demented, backwoods twins who are doing most of the killing here, and there's some pretty good kills. The two killers, the two twins are not really that impressive for me. I was kind of hoping for a little more, but
yeah, they're just big chubby guys. But
guys. Yeah, exactly.
That's kind of the twist that the whole time there's only one, and then you find out at the end, oh, there's another one.
Yeah, exactly. So, but a good cast in this as well. You got George Kennedy in here and a bunch of other people you've seen before.
Yeah.
But the kills are pretty good. It's a fast-moving film. It's not a long one. I liked it. I mean, I think I was expecting a little bit more, but it's still pretty good. Then there's this one, Blood Rage, which
oh sure, yeah,
I dug this one quite a bit.
That's a fun one. Yeah, one of the only Thanksgiving horror movies.
It's Thanksgiving horror. You got two twins again, right?
Yep.
One twin's the bad, one's the good, but something happened early when they were little kids, and one of them kills someone at a drive-in, and the twin who did it blames it on the other twin, so he gets put into a
the mother's a wreck.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And they're growing up. You got Louise Lasser from Mary Hartman, who's in who plays the mother. And then the one twin comes back, and all hell breaks loose, and pretty good film.
It's a fun one. Yeah,
pretty good film. And last but not least, based on your recommendation, Dr. Butcher, MD.
Oh, a classic.
Otherwise known as what, the Zombie Holocaust?
Zombie Holocaust. Yep.
Right. I watched both films. They're almost identical.
They're very similar. Zombie Holocaust has a different score.
Yeah.
And I think there's a couple. Well, Dr. Butcher has the inserts in the beginning that are taken from the Wes Craven unfinished movie, Tales to Tear Your Heart Out, which also had Roy Frumkiss. I think he directed the segments that are in there. So it's little differences.
Yeah, but a good film nonetheless.
Oh, sure.
So it's part zombie film, part psychotic doctor film, part cannibal movie.
Part cannibal, yeah. I mean, they talk about throwing it all in. Some great nudity.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, big time. Yeah, it's kind of like, to me, it's almost like Fulci Zombie meets Cannibal Holocaust, or what is it? And meets what's the other film that I get reminded of when I watch this? Oh, now I'm drawing a complete blank. It'll come to me. There was another movie that kind of, it reminds me of a little bit.
And it's shot on some of the same sets.
Reanimator.
Oh, yes, perfect. Yeah, and shot on some of the same sets as Fulci Zombie.
Yeah, exactly. So pretty cool. So the zombies aren't all that impressive, but they're okay. It's a low budget film.
Right. It's schlocky but fun.
It is, and but it's pretty neat. And
the extras on that disc. I don't know if you have the chance to go through them, Pete. Unbelievable.
I watched a little bit of it. I haven't seen too much.
There's a shit ton on. I mean, there's like I want to say like a 45-minute documentary all about all the different old grindhouse theaters on 42nd Street. There's a lot of really good stuff on there.
Yeah, Severin does a great job.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's pretty cool. Good ending to this film too.
Oh yeah, it's a blast.
And it's got the lead actress. I forget what is her name. Alexandra Deli, I think her name is.
Yes,
she was also in New York Ripper.
New York Ripper, and she was also in, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't she also in Mountain of the Cannibal God?
I don't know. Could be.
Yeah, she gets naked in all of them. Yep.
And I think she looks the best in this one.
Oh yeah, and I tell you, I love the actress who doesn't get naked. I wish she did. She's the one that gets scalped.
Oh yeah, the reporter. Yeah.
Yeah, the reporter. She's gorgeous.
Yeah.
And apparently there's like an extra on there where she talks about how she did get naked in all these other movies. I'm like, oh Jesus. Like, why didn't you get her get naked in this one?
Rats. Oh well.
But yeah, a lot of good extras on there.
Yeah, that was a good one. I enjoyed that. So so there you have it, everybody. All sorts of good and a couple not so good recommendations for you this week. So we'll expect all sorts of comments about, damn, I got to go buy more films this week now, thanks to these two guys, right? So tune in next week for more Monsters Den fun. We hope to have Mr. Catino back. We actually don't have a topic for next week yet. We moved, for those of you wondering where the Spookies episode is, Spookies Part 3 with a couple of the actors, and one of the Muckmen is coming on June 10th. So we had to kind of move that forward a few weeks. So June 10th is that. On June 17th, we've got Dan Brown, Jamie Laszlo, and myself doing our 10 favorite Alfred Hitchcock films. I know Rich and Chris and I have to at some point do our favorite Cronenberg films. That's all coming up, and as all sorts of other stuff. We got a ton of stuff. We're going to do more Monsters Attack, more Rubber Monsters. I mean, I've got a list of topics that's like ridiculously long. So we'll get to all of them in time. So thanks for watching, everybody. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time. So for Chris Alo, I'm Pete Pardo. Good night, everybody.